You're starting it.
Hi. How are you guys? Happy Thursday morning. We're filming this at night actually, but posting it in the morning. So it's Janae and Andrew here. Kids are asleep. Bretta's asleep. We're awake. Actually, I'll probably be asleep in like 30 minutes, but other than that,
30
Andrew will
seconds.
be awake for another few hours. So we're just hanging out. We had a few questions come in about life. So we thought we'd talk about them. You go first, Andrew.
All right, this one is from Amanda. Does Andrew have any interest in running a marathon? I do, but I don't. No, I've done St. George a couple times. I've done another marathon that was part of another race called an Ironman. That was not fun.
No, thank you.
It was
For me.
good. No, it was fun, but not the most glorious day of my life. It was a hard day. So I was planning on doing St. George with Janae. It was actually my idea.
It was. We were dating, and he's like, we should run St. George together. So
But-
I hurried and registered and paid for us both to do it.
Before we were married. So I was planning on doing that, but it didn't work out. I've done the St. George Marathon, and I've done the course a lot too. But I didn't want to do a race where I wasn't like really prepared for it, and a lot of things have been happening, getting into school and working on this house. I worked a lot on this house after my job, so it was no time for running for me. So, yeah. So I'm
You
getting
ran
back
a
on
little
it.
bit still, but not like 20 milers and
No,
such.
so I didn't have time to do that. And I didn't want to do a race that I wasn't prepared for.
But I do recall you going and running the St. George Marathon after one 10-miler. That's as much as he did
That
for
was like
training.
8 years ago.
I can't even imagine.
My body will
I'd be
fall apart.
dead.
That was 8 years ago, and I've been really hard on my body my whole life. So it's going to fall apart if I'm not.
Oh.
Anyways, no, I'm going to do one. I just want to make sure I do well. I want to train better for it. So
He'll do one. So Amanda also asks if I have any sights on a spring marathon, and right now I don't know, that might change, but I really want to do, there's a few half marathons that I want to really train for, and I don't know, maybe I'll just do St. George again next year. I don't know. It all depends. My mind changes every other day, but right now there's just some half marathons I have my sights set on, but yeah. Okay, and then Amanda also asked, did you usually wear spin shoes? She just started spinning, and yes, for spin, when I taught spin a lot, I wore spin shoes every single time. I think they really help you climb hills. They help you to maintain like control of the bike. Your feet aren't like going all over the place. It helps you to have better form, just a lot more power with each stroke. So I definitely recommend, if you're getting into a spin class, I would definitely get some shoes, because that'll make so much of a big difference in your like power. Okay, your turn.
which one? There's a lot.
Well, let's
of
just
them.
go down.
The whole one.
Yeah.
Jade asks, the one question I must ask for the vlog is, when do you think you guys will add a new baby to your family? That's all yours. I'm not answering this.
I don't know. Every other day it changes. One day I'm like, yeah, that'd be so fun. Let's have another baby. And then another day I'm like, let's wait 3 years or 4 or 5. No. So it just kind of depends on the day. I think once you're ready, you kind of feel ready in every way. And there's not this back and forth all the time. And you know what I mean?
It's going to be a while. I know it's going to be a while.
We've got a lot of partying to do. Plus, I mean, this is just a lot of change for the kids already, so we want to be really mindful of that and kind of take our time to really establish things with them and make sure they're completely comfortable before we throw in some more, more changes for them. But
yeah, we've done a lot in this last 6 months.
yeah. So we'll probably wait a little while, but I'm sure you guys will all be a part of that whole thing again. That'll be fun. Okay. Read it.
Alyssa asks, what did each of you do to stay positive when it came to dating / single life / loneliness and discouragement?
Ooh, you first. What'd you do to stay positive?
I don't know. There are nights and weekends and stuff where pizza and Netflix got me through the weekend, and that's not a joke. That's for real. Maybe. And to be honest, it came to the end of things, like where I'm into my single life, where I was ready just to travel, just be Knox's daddy and travel. And I was gonna go visit my brother a whole bunch in Hawaii and surf and travel, and that changed. So I don't know. It's kind of whatever gets you through it. I always look forward to things. Like I always got into new hobbies. Mountain biking was a huge one for me, and anytime I could do that, I would do that. But family was big. I guess family is huge, and then I look for my little adventures.
No, for sure. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that it's okay to just not be okay. There was a lot of nights that I cried, and a lot of nights that I same thing watched Gilmore Girls for 5 hours straight, and just like, you know what I mean, just had a hard time, and just kind of was sad over my situation, but then woke up the next day and just moved forward and carried on. And I think it's funny because I feel like I was never okay being alone. That was really hard for me, and so I'd be like busy all the time and like trying to always like put myself out there dating and socializing and blah 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 and all this stuff. And it wasn't until like a few months before I met Andrew where I was finally like okay just being me. Like I was fine being home on a Friday night when a year or two before that would have like put me in a panic attack, you know? So I think it finally just got to the point where I was like, guess what? I'm pretty great. I like spending time with myself. Like, here's a good book, do something with Brooke, and like, and that's kind of when I met Andrew, and it was like, I feel like I was kind of like finally ready and like happy with myself and okay with being single that I found him. So I don't know if that has anything to answer, but yeah, it's worth the wait though. I would definitely worth the wait.
It's hard to hear people say that, like,
yeah.
but it just, I don't know. I kind of got to the same situation where I was like, okay with just being single, but I mean, it just happens on its own due
That's
time.
the thing where it's like it was so worth all those lonely nights and weekends and times crying to like meet Andrew. I would not change it for the world. So I'm really happy with how that worked out. So you got this. Email me if you need help.
Next one. What did you do? And same. This is also Alyssa. What did you do to be open? I can't read right now. I'm sorry. What did you do to open yourselves up to being vulnerable? Or was that never an issue? I worked in mental health. In mental health, there's no, for lack of a better term, BS. There is, you just kind of say how it is, and I just knew what I wanted, and that was it. I remember first date, we were kind of just, I don't know, just put it out there, who I am, what I do, kind of what I'm looking for. Not like craziness, but I don't have a hard time being vulnerable. I'll kind of say what's on my mind and what I'm feeling.
Totally. And I feel like in general, like as you know on my blog, I probably tell you too much information, or anytime I meet like a new girlfriend, I'm just like so open and I tell my life story in 12 seconds or less, and I'm super vulnerable there. But as far as with guys, I was not vulnerable at all. I had a lot of trust issues, a lot. And it was really hard for me to open up or feel safe or comfortable, basically. But with Andrew, it was just like this instant, like, I just felt so comfortable with him. And sometimes it's just the person that'll bring that out of you, and just trusting and just feeling comfortable with that person. But, yeah, I don't know.
That's a hard one. I think there's a pretty good book about that.
By Brene Brown.
Mm-hmm. Money. Good one.
Good book.
Look that one up. That's a good
I'll
one.
send it to you.
This one?
Yep.
How do you and Andrew squeeze in workouts between work and babies? Have you done any run dates?
We haven't done any run dates since we were dating.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Oh, no, actually, we did one when we came home. Okay, we might have done one or two.
We've done a couple.
But yeah, we need to do more of those.
She's been training hard for this marathon. I'm not to that level right now, so we haven't been doing that.
But now, like, during recovery time and stuff, we'll be able to run together more. And for our date night, we've been wanting to go to boot camp, Megan's boot camp class. We want to do that and then go to dinner or something. So we will be getting, like, to be able to do one workout together. But we just got the treadmill set up at home. Hallelujah. So we're stoked about that because we can well, I guess we can't run at the same time, but one of us could be using the spin bike while the other runs, stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully. But how do you squeeze in workouts?
I usually did during lunch, so
Yeah.
it wasn't, or I have to get up really early.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of just how we do it.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I don't like to run at night. If I put it off till night, I will never do it.
Me neither. Night runners, you're amazing for being able to get the motivation to go out. If I don't do it first thing when I wake up, it's really hard for me to get out the door. Even though I know I need it and I love it, it's just hard to lace up and go. So, okay, Sally.
Does Beretta sleep in the bed?
She
No.
doesn't.
She does. She used to sleep with me when I was single. She'd sleep on my bed. And she'd actually sleep on Knox's bed every once in a while. But Knox didn't like that too much, so she stopped. And then, yeah. I got a new bed, too, and I didn't want her sleeping on it. So, but she is very spoiled. She sleeps on all our pillows.
She does.
And
she really likes it there.
She has a good life.
Yeah.
So I don't feel too bad for her
She's living
anymore.
the dream. This reminded me, I might have told you guys this one time, but when I was first starting to date Andrew, I was talking to my sister on the phone, and I was telling her everything about him and going on about Andrew, and I got to the point where I told her, like, he has a chocolate lab even, and I was so stoked about that because I'd always wanted a dog, obviously, and a lab was, like, my favorite, and so then she said to me, she's like, oh my goodness, you've got to marry this guy, and she goes on, and I was like, she's not really even a dog person, and I was like, okay, why are you so excited about it? And come to find out, she was really sleep deprived from having a baby, so she wasn't sleeping very much. But she thought when I said chocolate lab that I meant he had like a lab where he made chocolate, and like she didn't think I was talking about a dog. So she was kind of bummed that he doesn't actually own a chocolate lab to make us chocolate, but Beretta's better than a chocolate lab.
Yes.
So yeah. And
I'm
then
not that high class or intricate. I don't know what the other word I was thinking of. All right, where we at? Caitlin asked a question for you guys. How do you keep date nights fun? Switch things up.
So our date nights include, we go out once a week where we either get a babysitter or my mom will have Brooke, but we always do it a night that we don't have Knox in the first place because we already don't get to be with Knox 50% of the time, so we don't want to add to that and have that be our date night. So we do it once a week, and we'll go to dinner, we'll go to Sundance, Andrew and I both really like food, so going out to eat is like
of ice is not good.
It's delicious. So the main part of our date, like the most exciting part, is trying a new restaurant or going to one of our favorites, or food and dessert.
But we do different things. Like we're gonna go to a haunted house.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
She's never been. I've never been to like really like scary haunted houses.
And I get terrified so easily, so this is gonna be fun.
I kind of want to do that. There's one full contact one out here.
I'm not doing that.
That's like supposed to be crazy,
creepy.
but
I won't be doing that.
Yeah, we won't do that one. But we're gonna hook up with my brother and his wife. We're gonna go up somewhere. I don't know. So if anyone has any recommendations, if you've done it before, let us know.
How do we keep date nights from going stale? I don't know. I guess we're still newlyweds, so that's kind of makes it easy. But I think like I get ready for once a week for that. But I mean, a lot of the times, like Brooke tonight was like, "Why do I have to go to bed right now?" And it was kind of like, I need my time with Andrew, which is, different going into a marriage with kids already. But this time around, we, are you pointing at the time? I talk too much. So this is a long one. But anyways, so just, I don't know, setting aside, even if it's just going on a walk or doing something together, it's important, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah. Anything surprise you about each other? This was a fun.
She snores.
I snore so loud. Like, I can't help it either. He'll wake me up and be like, Janae, a little bit, can you snore a little quieter? And then I
did not say like that. I said, will you just turn over?
That's okay. I was trying to make him sound nicer than he is. But I'll like, and I try to like subconsciously think about it, but I can't. I don't know what
No, it's
my
usually not that
problem.
bad. She snores, but it's not that bad.
It's kind of bad. While we're on the subject of sleep, but Andrew, one thing that surprised me was Andrew pushes the snooze button like 30 times each morning, which is so funny because
I am not a morning person.
I like my alarm goes off and I'm awake. Like I can't go back to sleep or push snooze because if I set my alarm clock for that time because there's a reason I have to get up at that time. But Andrew's a little different about that circumstance. So okay, somebody asked. So we actually got this question a lot while we were dating or when we got engaged and married and everything. We haven't gotten it as much anymore, but I didn't really want to talk about it until now because I was just like not in the mood. But a lot of people asked how long we dated, and you said you wanted to talk about that.
So we did not date long. For those people that kind of pay attention, like she didn't really talk a lot about it. So we started dating. I don't know specific dates. I know
April 26th.
I thought I was gonna say
2016.
So we started dating then, and we got married in July 8th. So do math. Crazy. I know. We know. But
and before Andrew, if someone told me I was gonna do that, I would have been like, you have been taking crazy pills because I would never in a million years do that. Ever. But then Andrew came and it was like, well, yeah, of course.
People will not like it, but there is something that's different that you can't explain, or you can. I mean, just one of those things where you make a decision, you ask God if it's right, and you go with it. And to be honest, like I was a month before I met Janae, and where I was a month later, it was nothing short of a miracle, or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. I know we'll get some people will say, "How do you even know?" or "How could you do that?" And I dare say, I'm sorry, but someone said, "How do you let someone in your life and your kids' lives if you only known them for 2 months and you haven't been there?" And it was crazy, and it changed my life upside down and more. And I could not believe it, and it just happened the exactly right way it should have. And you wouldn't know it unless you're us, I guess. And
yeah.
I'm not. I mean, it's not something that like I'm not embarrassed of it. I love it. It changed my lives. My life changed for the 100 times better. So
that was like, how many weeks is that? That's like maybe 10 weeks. So it was crazy and definitely something I've never imagined I would do. But Andrew was different, big time.
Well, people say it, and it's just no. We
yeah,
love each
and
other.
some people date years, and that's great. And some people, it just.
I've heard even crazier stories than ours, so we're not the only ones out there. But no, seriously, like I know people have said a lot about it, but we're happiest we've ever been.
Yeah.
And that's what really matters. And our kids are seriously happiest they've ever been. And that was no joke. You can't fake that. So, anyways, put it out there. Take it.
It's funny because like it doesn't seem like us. Like when was this? This was like a month or two ago. I texted Andrew like, "Happy 3 months since I met you. We have a house and we're married and 2 kids and a dog." And but anyways, it was right, and I never questioned it. There was no anxiety whatsoever, and so that's how long we dated. Good times. Most embarrassing moments. Somebody asked about our most embarrassing moments. Can you think of any?
I have no idea.
I can't think. I think I've blocked them out of my mind because I don't want to think about them.
I don't think I have any embarrassing moments.
Okay, well, here's a question. What's it like being in the blogging world now?
What has it been like?
Yeah. What do you think of being in the blogging world now? Because he didn't know a thing about blogging before this, and then he met me, and
I had a very distinct
kind of
vision of what bloggers were, and what it is for Janae and I is very different. I don't know how to explain that. No, there's a lot of people out there checking in on our life, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions on us. Like
99.999% really great, nice, awesome people.
no, I'm not talking just the bad people. There's a lot of people that but it's good. I love it. It's nice to. The coolest thing was to be able to go to like St. George, because that's the first time I really had a lot of exposure to people that read the blog, and there are some awesome people out there. Just people that follow and just they're so supportive and positive and just living like killer lives, doing awesome, and they just connect, and it's so cool. I love to hear everyone's story. We just met a family that was in Mexico or lives in Mexico, and their whole family's down there, and I thought it was so cool. We took a picture.
You went to St. George for the marathon.
Went to St. George, his first marathon. He killed it. It was awesome, and just to see him, I'm like, hey, so what's going on? I'm like, what's down there? And he told me for work, and kids down there speak Spanish, and it's awesome. I'm like, holy cow, that's such an adventure. And like running into people like that and seeing like people come up to her and say, hey, I'm going through this, or some people email, and Janae really like emails people back. You email her, for the most part, like people will say, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and what have you done? And she does her best to get to everyone. There's a lot of people out there that ask and email, but it's cool to see the impact. It gets really hard sometimes, though. There are some really tough moments, but there are the best moments out there, too. So I didn't know how hard it was going to be, but I didn't know how good it was going to be as well. I mean, I'm being very vague right now, but I don't want to get too detailed into some of the experiences we had because they're kind of cool, and I don't want to share the whole world to them. But I don't know. It's cool, and it's different, but it's a fun world to be able to get to connect to other people and see that other people. We're not alone. We're not.
Totally.
Everyone has problems, and it's nice to know the lows and highs and share them with people.
I totally agree. And now his food is always a little bit cold whenever he eats it because I have to take pictures first.
I try not to get too. If I'm really hangry, like we got back from this is a long video. Sorry guys. We got back from St. George, and she was craving. So we got off the exit, and we're getting ready for Knox's birthday party.
This is after the marathon. Yeah, so we drove home the day of the marathon, which was crazy.
Which was nuts. The kids were good for the most part, but they were going on a little sleep. I'm going on a little sleep. She's going a little sleep, and her legs are on fire. We get back, and we had to pick up some stuff for Knox's birthday party the next day that we were celebrating with all our family. And so we're getting that stuff, just getting ready for that real quick before we went home. Because if we got home, we wouldn't do it.
So it's like 8 o'clock by this time.
Yeah.
At night. We've been driving all day. It was like, Andrew, I really need a specific hamburger.
That's on the other side of the city. The whole other side. And there's a thing... I don't even explain this. There is a conference that goes on every...
Oh, yeah. So the whole place was just like...
And it just got out. So there's people
crowded.
They just got out of conference, and the city's flooded with people who are wanting to get desserts and food. And I just knew it was going to take forever.
But he did it.
But we did it.
You guys know how important food is after a marathon or a long race or a long run. Like, when I thought of this hamburger and then it was onion rings and a Oreo milkshake, like I couldn't get it out of my head. I was gonna go.
We did it. We did it, but it took another 45 minutes, almost an hour to get it and get home.
Yeah,
an extra hour. But we did it, and it was good.
I didn't take pictures of it because I knew he was already so hungry, and I didn't want to make him wait any longer.
You didn't take any pictures?
So I'm really charitable right there. That is charity.
No one's gonna watch this.
Okay. But anyways, okay, well, thanks for following along, and yeah, we love you.
Have a killer night or morning, wherever it is, wherever you are.
Bye.